All right, welcome Internet one and all. My name's Gunter, and tonight I am going to be your VR TTRPG GMMC with the rated G NPCs. You guys are going to be the VIP PCs, and tonight we are going to LOL our way through some BBEGs is the plan. So if we don't get any takers, then I will be going through some tips for GMs and DMs for doing large groups and running homebrew and things like that. So we're here in the studio and we're giving folks a couple of minutes to get started. So once you get in here, let me know in the chat that you are here. We have got so far signed up Mitger, who is an anthropomorphic frog, wild magic druid, and we have Noros Reed Cobble. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. A halfling rogue are the two adventurers that we have currently signed up. Again, if you want to join in, all you have to do is hit that Google form and put in a type of character, a class, a race, name, and anything else you want us to know about your character. This is going to be a collaborative storytelling RPG session, which means that I am going to set up a scenario, and then the folks in chat will steer the story, and we'll kind of go back and forth that way. If you're new, if you haven't seen our live streams before, that's because this is our very first one, and so hopefully this is something that our community finds enjoyable and we'll be able to do again. But for tonight, all you need is a character and probably one of these. This is a 20-sided dice. If you don't have one of these, this might be your first time playing Dungeons & Dragons, which is totally fine, or Pathfinder or any RPG. We're loosely using some of the mechanics, but it's not an actual D&D or Pathfinder session or anything like that. We have all the characters are homebrew or are written here in MiniMishaps, so we're not going to be using any copyrighted materials tonight. And that goes for you guys. If you're trying to run characters, we ask that you not use proprietary names for your characters. But yeah, we're going to basically do this. The D20s is going to let us know how the story is going to go. And the story tonight is going to start in Athlaca. Athlaca, if you've never been, is a city of animalians. So there are most everybody in Athlaca are anthropomorphic animals. That's the only city that is set up that way. It was a big curse from the gods eons ago. So the rest of the Neocap and main continent have elves and dwarves and what you would expect from the core races. So as far as how you came to this place, we've got a number of setup options here. So if you're already an animalian, you could have just started in Athlaca. There's also recently a number of islands that have come up out of the sea. So you could be investigating that from another town. And we are going to see if I can open the live stream twice here. And I will do my best not to get disconnected. Like I said, again, this is our first live stream. So if something does happen, I'm going to avoid using other streaming services that might mess up my camera or anything like that. So we have a Roll20 map set up if we want to try that, but I'm worried about it booting me off of the YouTube side. So for now, we are going to just use our theater of the mind, which is kind of our preference anyway. All right, so first option is you're an animalian. You're already an Aarakocra or a Tortle or Rhoxx, a Mousekin. You may just have gotten kicked out of Lower Minespa because the Hungry Dark is there and they have sort of sealed the city and kicked out anybody that wasn't a resident there. You might have come from the north, from Blasthaven, for that same island coming up out of the water. And you may have come from Kithaern, which is across the Impossible Sea, There's a teleporter that goes directly from Kithaern to Athlaca, because several people have come through to Kithaern fleeing some attack that's been happening in Athlaca. So Athlaca is a city kind of under lots of duress right now, lots of different adventures happening at once. And then you may have just fallen out of the sky portal. That's how characters with backstories from all different games and different situations can land in the GetherVerse. There's just a big portal in the sky that pulls people from other worlds and drops them into the Neocap. Or you might have come from Pirate Island, because many of the pirates there have cybernetic implants, and they all stopped transmitting from Athlaca at once. So there's a bunch of different things that would bring us to Athlaca. I've got folks on the Discord telling me that they need a link for this, so I'm going to send that over to them real fast. Okay. So definitely put it in the chat if you're here and if you want to run a character tonight. Let us know if you have been in the GetherVerse, what your favorite parts are. All right. Appreciate everybody's patience while we get our players into the room. Okay, so the GetherVerse is a universe that is loosely, or was loosely, based on the worlds of the various role-playing games, and it's high fantasy, and it is, most of the new players start off in the Neocap, and that's sort of the tutorial area of the continent. So the academy is there, which trains adventurers, and then Capital City and Blasthaven are all that. Athlaca is sort of in the next range for the mid-level and early-level adventurers after they've kind of learned the ropes on how to navigate. If you're interested in this collaborative storytelling, you can also find it anytime ongoing at the Discord server, which is in the description, as well as if you want to support on Patreon or any of things like that. All of that is in the description down there. So let me know how the sound is. Let me know how the we're still waiting on some folks to get in, but let me know how the sound is. Let me know if you can't read anything on the screen, etc. So I'll be putting up various things up on the screen throughout the stream here. So we do all kinds of videos for our channel. We do painting videos, we 3D print, we do kind of some collaboration with other channels anytime we get the opportunity. And so tonight we have got players from the Bristlecone Bunch as well as Nerd HQ, and pretty exciting stuff there. So we're still trying to get them in. We've got them on our Discord, just trying to get them over to our stream here. All right. Okay, again, let me know once you're in the room and we'll get started. The adventure is going to start like any adventure does, which is in the tavern. And the tavern is going to be the Golden Anchor. And that we'll get, we've got a little visual up here. There we go. There's the Golden Anchor. Kind of hard to tell on that screen, but we have got Karch, who is the owner and main bartender. He's our shark fellow, shark kin here. Let's see if there's any. I think that's going to be about where we're at for that. And then in the working, bringing people their food, We've got Holly. She's a cardinalkin. There's 2 frogagogs sitting at a table, and that is Emmett and Renee. And then in the corner, we have got our Weaselkin, Francis. And if any of you have been adventuring in the VirtuaVentures on the Discord, you might know Francis as the owner of the Underground Coliseum gladiatorial arena. He is in lots of the different stories. These other folks they're getting their debut tonight for the first time that they've been in a story. So these ones are basically here for the adventure tonight. All right, there again, this is a collaborative storytelling. So if you want to have a character in the game tonight, all you need to do is go to the Google form and put in a character name, class, race, and that's all you need. And however you generate a random number between 1 and 20. So that is it for what you need for the stream. And I'm just going to keep telling you about the GetherVerse if we don't have any takers here. So Athlaca is the westernmost coast of the first continent, the main continent. And if you headed straight east, that would take you to Minespa, Lower Minespa. Lower Minespa is exactly what it sounds like. It is a mine set into a tremendously tall cliff, and it's also a set of hot springs in the same set of cliffs. So it's a mine and a spa, hence Minespa. If you head up the cliff to the top of the Neocap, you would be in Upper Minespa, and then that would take you back to the New Anfang Academy and Capital City, and then anywhere you care to go in the Neocap. So, but our story is in Athlaca, and Athlaca, if you head out, so right now we're on the docks. Karch's bar is at the docks. If you head into town, the first thing you would hit is the Holy Center, which is the clerics and temples, magic users. That's where they have their setup. And if you continued south through town, you'd end up in the Party Bazaar, which is run by Halil. Okay. Still working on getting some of our folks in here for the stream. The characters that are joining us, Mitker, the Frogagog, is a long-time adventurer within the VirtuaVentures on the Discord server. He started off as sort of a NPC sidekick to another character, Lucy. Lucy looks something like this. Oh yeah, definitely can't see anything but a silhouette with that lighting. Apologize for that. Do my best not to do product placements here. Okay, so we are still waiting for some folks. So Mitker is a wild magic druid, and he tried learning regular druidic magic from Lucy, and found out that anytime he would try and cast, it would end up with a wild magic effect. Now, we don't mess around with wild magic. We're not using a small table on the... we actually have a website that we use that has, I think, 999,000 options of things that can happen on wild magic. So anytime wild magic happens, I'll have the players roll 4 percentiles. That's 1 to 100 on the random number generator, and that tells me kind of the place, and then the chart, and then the type and severity of the effect. So it can literally be anything. So that happens every once in a while when Mitker tries to cast. It's a fun little side thing. And as far as characters go, again, you don't have to follow any kind of standard character creation from an RPG that can pretty much be anything. The GetherVerse is designed to be a storytelling avenue. So since the Sky Portal can draw in people from any universe, you can have D&D characters and mixing with Pathfinder, mixing with WoW or Warhammer. Pretty much doesn't really stop them from being able to adventure in the story. And that's actually one of the big world arcs through all the different sessions and the virtual sessions and all of the videos and things that we make, is that the characters can interact and play and try to find a way to get back through that Sky Portal. Looks like we've got a couple of folks that have found their way to our stream. Let me know you guys are here, and if you've got a character, you can put that in the chat. And also let me know if you can hear me, or if I'm talking too quietly, or if the mic's not picking me up. We're still working on making sure all the tech stuff's working. I know the lighting isn't ideal, but it's what we've got, and we will continue to improve it as the community grows here. So if you're just joining us, I was letting folks know that all they need to have a character on that Google form is a name, a race, and a class, and one of these, which, again, 20-sided dice, or if you search for a random number generator, it'll give you one that's built in, pretty easy to use, 1 through 20. All right, for those folks that are seeing me, are you guys here to try out the virtual venturing? Go ahead and put in the chat if you're here for that. If you're just here to hear me talk about Athlaca, I'll tell you more about Athlaca. So Athlaca's geographic features, it has a underbelly, which is the... Oh, hey, we got a player. Awesome. So if you're going to be doing virtual ventures with us there, Joe, go ahead and you can add your character to the Google Doc. Otherwise, sit back and enjoy. But I was telling them about Athlaca, which has once had several floating islands and now just has 1 or 2 that have come back out of the sea. And so part of what the options for the adventures tonight are going to be is finding out why and how those islands are returning from under the ocean. But it has underbelly with a Coliseum. That's where Francis the Weaselkin runs the gladiatorial games there. Also under the city, there is a futuristic library where there's just tons of the town's history is stored. And essentially when the town was founded, a now villain, Mandabark, built this library in coordination with an android named Aarakocra. And she is an android that was a sword, and before that an elven queen. So she was trapped in the sword, released from the sword, but put into an android body. And that was probably 1,000 years ago when Athlaca started, that they built this library under the town. So you have this high-tech library and you have this Coliseum that are under the town. And then on the main street level, you've got the docks where our story start takes place. And then you have the Holy Center, which is the temples. You have the uptown part, which used to connect directly to the floating islands, but now is just sort of where the nobles and former leaders hang out. Athlaca went through, not too long ago, a change of power when a bunch of our adventuring heroes went in and cleaned out the Atmo Confo, which is a secret society crime syndicate. And that was the same time that the islands fell into the sea, was that battle. And if memory serves, I think Joe was there for that. So Joe might remember Mandabark fall into his splat and the islands going. And what else in Athlaca? The Party Bazaar. They've got places to eat, drink, and tavern and inn. And that was our fault. Yeah. Well, I try to not point fingers at players too hard, but yeah, the accidental fall of the islands was it was something that I think a powerful artifact was used, and the island ended up lasering itself and severing its connection to the other islands, and then they set free one of the Grommakin gods from underneath the islands, which was the power source that was keeping it up. So they freed that. Zeus was trapped under there. But the players tonight won't have any of that probably memory unless Joe's playing one of his characters that was there. And so now it's a mystery since Zeus is no longer here, along with the other Grommakin gods are no longer here. Grommakin, we use Grommakin. It's kind of a Greco-Roman, short for Greco-Roman. So in the GetherVerse, the Grommakin gods are the ones that messed up the world in the last world before it had an apocalypse, and they were punished by how they handled it. And so they've been mostly depowered in the GetherVerse. So they are actually the pantheon, one of the pantheons, but the only pantheon that actually is walking around among the players, because they've been cast out by the other pantheons of deities there. So you guys are getting a ton about Athlaca. We've got a couple people watching. Let us know in the chat if you're here to do the collaborative storytelling. And we've got, it looks like, we've got Dune. Awesome. So we've got Dune, Firebeard, Dwarf, Cleric. We've got Noros, Reed, Cobble, Halfling, Rogue. And we've got Mitger, the Frogagog, Wild Magic Druid, are the three that are here. So we can probably go ahead and get started. So I don't know if you guys read the description, but if you want to choose, if you're going to land on the coast at Karch's Bar, and it's the Golden Anchor, and you can, if you're an animalian, you can be from Athlaca already. You could have been kicked out of Lower Minespa, came from the north from Blasthaven. You could have come through the teleporter at Kithaern. You could have just fallen into the world from the sky portal, or you could have come from Pirate Island, because all the Atlacan pirates' cybernetics implants have all stopped transmitting all at once. So if you are one of our 3 characters so far that's on the Google Docs, and anybody can join in if you want to play, all you got to do is put a character in the Google Doc, and we are going to just jump in and get started. So we have got, this is Karch's. Yeah, and I know that doesn't blow up very big on that screen. I have that setup preview is a little bit different than what I've got access to here. Hey, we've got Zach. Welcome. And so, do you guys want to role play out meeting each other, or do you want to have already met one another? And it's also, nobody's told me yet, is the sound okay? Can you guys hear volume-wise? Am I doing good okay? All right. So your options here, you can talk to the owner and bartender, Karch. He's our shark folk. We have got our waiting tables is Holly. She's a cardinalkin. We've got 2 frogagogs, Renee and Emmett. I don't know what happened to Emmett's poor teeth there. And then we've got Francis, who some of you know from the Coliseum. So we've got all of those folks are in this Karch's, along with all of you guys. So which, if any of these folks do you want to talk to, or do you want to go ahead and skip the tavern and move on to the next thing here? So let me know in the chat what you guys want to do. I'm going to turn this just a little bit so we can all partake. All right, so again, we've got Francis, the Otterkin. We've got Emmett, the Frogagog. Renee, the Frogagog. Holly, the Cardinalkin. And we've got Karch, the bartender. Shark. So if you're wondering, most of these names came from the Latin derivatives of the animals that they resemble there. So tell me in the chat which of these fine folks you want to talk to or get information from. Again, Holly, Emmett, Karch, Francis. Any of these options look good? I'm also wondering how big of a delay there is in the audio in the chat. Just because I'm not always trusting of the connection here. So, all right. So here's our tavern, and we'll get back to in case other people want to. Would you guys prefer if I was typing options in the chat, or is the audio version workable? Dune is suspicious of the otter and wants to talk to the Cardinalkin. That sounds good. What PCs are with you? Well, right now you've got Dune, and I don't know if they're in the room, but you've got Mitker is the other ones. Otherwise, it's the two of you guys. All right. So Dune's going to go and chat with our Cardinalkin here. There we go. So that's Holly. And so Holly basically lets you know that Athlaca is kind of not trying to do the Mesoamerican halo there. I apologize. So she basically lets you know that Athlaca was attacked by the Grommakin gods, and they're still rebuilding. But they still don't know why the islands are raising from the sea. They're also having to deal with a lot of people that are transplanting from Lower Minespa that just all recently got kicked out of Lower Minespa. They are still with the islands returning out of the sea. There is a vacuum of power. There's people that are whispering about the return of Atmo Confo, which is the crime syndicate. They're whispering about the return of the Grommakin gods and their wrath. And in general, people are worried about what it means. And their temples to the Grommakin gods have been basically powered down. Anybody that was connected to them is not able to sense their presence. So those are all the sort of big, scary issues facing the people of Athlaca, and they are gathering people here on the docks bar at the Golden Anchor. It seems like this is sort of the first tavern that everybody hits, so they're sort of giving them the lowdown on all the drama there. So if did any of those adventures sound like they were something that your character would like to pursue, then you can put that in the chat as well. And you guys can feel free to interact as your characters with each other, or as yourselves with each other and the internet at large there. But so we've got some options there from Holly, as well as she'll do regular bring you food and get you situated that way if your character is needing that. So as far as being worried about the Weaselkin, you can go ahead and I wonder if there's a way to do a random number generator in the actual chat. I don't think there probably is, but if you want to do an insight or a perception or reverse deception on if you think the character might be trustworthy, you can certainly do that as well. You guys are having way too much fun. It's a little weird not being able to see any faces for the session. Usually I am typing with other typers, or I'm face-to-face with other faces. And this is definitely a new type of experiment we're doing here today. All right, so Dune might be worried about the god of craft, Hephaestus, as he is in the general domain god of Gond. So as far as that goes, are you wanting to help Hephaestus, or are you wanting to avoid Hephaestus's wrath? Are you wanting to try and seek him out? Certainly don't mind. That would take us far flung away from Athlaca, probably, if we're chasing the Grommakin gods. And Hephaestus is one that hasn't been located yet. He is one that, through the last several conflicts, has actually remained in hiding. So, but if you guys want to go seek out Hephaestus, that is definitely an option. Get this guy back up here. And your eyes aren't fooling you. Francis does have different colored eyes on each side. So are we trying to find Hephaestus, or are you asking about Hephaestus? Do you want to head to the Holy Center where the temples are? Or we could head to the Party Bazaar where all the crafters are and blacksmiths. Checking the temple. Okay. So there is a temple of Gond here and a temple of, just one moment, I will figure that out. Ah, yes. So Faramal is the other god of crafting that's there. Faramal, and I'll type that in to the chat here. And Gond both have temples. Yeah, so Faramal is probably the Athlacan version, and then the Gond is I believe, a dwarven deity from the D&D world. Again, if you miss it at the beginning, we don't, outside of letting the players play what they want, we don't use generally the officially owned names and copyrighted names. We're conscious of that. So, yep, and yeah, and Faramal there is going to be derived from the Latin for iron there. So we can use Hephaestus, but I don't know that we'll generally, outside of a situation like this where the player puts it in, generally won't use those copyrighted names, etc., from the actual play systems. All right, looks like we've got a couple more folks in here. If you're just joining, then you can jump in the game if you want. All you need is to put a character in the Google Doc. And again, I'm sorry for the lighting. Once the sun sets a little bit more, it should adjust the focus. Hephaestus was never in Athlaca, so the temple to Faramal right now is working totally fine. It was Amara, who was Aphrodite, and that was really, and then on the floating islands there was a temple to, I always want to say Athena, but it was the other one. Yeah, Amara was trapped in a storage container for a little while. Oh, come on, Artemis. There we go. Artemis had a temple on the floating islands, but that was destroyed and returned to the sea. Another accidental sacking of a temple by the players. And so right now it's just the Temple of Amara that is affected, that the players know about. But Hephaestus is somewhere else on the continent or another plane of existence. Nobody in the group of players that is in the GetherVerse has sought him out yet. So can totally do that if that's something that you guys want to take on, finding Hephaestus. And the Temple of Farinal might be a good place to start. You guys want to head over to the Farinal Temple? It's also a little strange because I think I can talk faster than I can type. So letting everybody get their responses in. Let me know if I am just sort of talking over everybody. Want to make sure everybody gets a chance to have their game happen that they want to. So, and as far as I can tell, we have got Mitker, who's a Frogagog, Wild Magic Druid. Noros, Reed Cobble is a Halfling Rogue. Dune Firebeard is a Dwarven Cleric. And then now we've got Shuma Gorgo, Half-Orc, Barbarian. And please fix me if my pronunciation is poor, which it almost always is. You're helping Shuma sent in on the other window. Well, that's all good. Okay, so we are going to, I think, head for the Temple of Farinal if I'm not hearing any other preferences from the chat. Going once? Twice? All right, so you guys are making your way over to the Temple of Farinal in the holy center of Athlaca. If you're just joining us, Athlaca is a city of animalians, and I apologize if you're just joining us, is what I am going to be saying every 5 to 10 minutes because this is my first time doing it. Ah, I got you now. Yes, the temple. All right, excellent. So if you guys all want to roll a religion check, and if you're not rolling, then you've got, remember, random number generator can do it. Otherwise, again, it's sort of a storytelling honor system there. So you can post your numbers in the chat. Anybody do a religion check for the Temple of Farinal? All right, so we landed right in the middle. So I'm going to say that they probably don't have a direct connection to talk to you about at the temple there. The 13, okay, that's good. Still kind of in the middle. But they can let you know which directions the other Grommakin gods are supposedly have gone, or they can direct you back. The largest amount of forging and blacksmithing and all of that happens at Kun Badur, which is the Dwarven capital, and I believe also where our Dune is from, Kun Badur. So they're going to recommend that you head to Kun Badur in order to. Awesome. So then, all right. So Frybox has got a 19. We'll deal with that a little bit separately. The Temple of Faramal is going to recommend that you check out the Forges of Kun Badur. Awesome. Yep, this was so Shuma venerates her ancestors as part of her religion. This was more if the Grommakin god Hephaestus was going to reach out to anybody directly. Kun Badur. Actually, that's pretty good spelling. No H and only one D, and you'd have it. Kun Badur. All right. So is that where you guys are wanting to head next? Is to the Forges of Kun Badur? They're actually probably, since they're rebuilding them, it probably is a good place to try and contact deities that have to do with forging and returning that power to the forges. And his quest. Yep. Well, no metagaming here, but they may send you out again from the forges once you've made that connection. So let me just double check and make sure that we don't have any of our big scary artifacts in Kun Badur either. Nope. So Kun Badur should be safe to travel. And all right, so I'm going to roll for your guys' encounters because it's easier that way. Oh, hey. It's the main continent and the Neocap. You guys are right over here. Here's the floating islands of Athlaca. And we are taking this trip across to this castle, which represents Kun Badur. I think I may even have it. Up here. Right there we go. Yep. All right. So here's Athlaca. We're gonna go across the Centaur steps here, and there's Kun Badur right there. So okay. So you guys are you doing any kind of prep work, stuff in the city? Do you need any of that before we head for Kun Badur? Since it's mostly you are trusted with your own sheet, you can kind of just have the gear that you need or want or think that you need or want. Again, all of this is just on an honor system to further the stories in the GetherVerse. So no takers for needing stuff in Athlaca before we head out. All right, so we're heading for Kun Badur, and I did not roll any encounters, so I think you guys are good. Yep, no encounters on the way to Kun Badur. You travel, and it's probably going to be a camping situation. So do you guys want to push for Kun Badur and be tired, or do you want to camp short of Kun Badur at the edge of the Hondalar Woods? You should be good. Yeah. Being good is good. Oh, for town. That's good. That's even better. All right. I didn't know if that was an introspection of whether you should be good or evil, but good is good. But you meant you're good. You don't need gear. So let's go ahead and let's make camp there. Anything you guys want to brave it and push through the exhaustion? Okay, on to Kun Badur. So Kun Badur is rebuilding from the undead invasion. They have rebuilt the external gates, and it looks like life has mainly returned to normal. The only things that are still being rebuilt are the, we'll say, technologically complex versions of things. So the forges, as well as some of the other tinkering and sciences and some of the more complex buildings as well. And then they have a their own mining system into the NeoCap, under the NeoCap as well, and that mining system was damaged, so that's being repaired as well. So Dune is going to show us around, show you guys around, and so I don't know if Dune wants to let us know anything that he knows or that I shouldn't miss about Kun Badur. It's actually a lot of the dwarves on this continent are from Kun Badur. They have external access on the main ground level to do trading with Lower Minespa, and then they actually also have the mines and connections to the underground races, which are the aquatic gnomes and others that haven't been discovered yet. So they do a lot of trading as well. And that actually was a detriment during the undead invasion because they had some invaders from the water side of the city. But that's all being rebuilt. And so they have, I don't know if your group has breathe underwater capabilities, but that would be, there's an access to that under the Awesome. So Dune would take a somber tone, but would lead them through the basic tour. He still hopes to see the city reach its former glory. Don't we all? That's all right. Nope on water breathing. Not a problem. That'll be something for you and the internet and everyone else to look forward to in maybe a future game session or stream. And that would be good. It'd be a stream under the underwater stream. All right. So we're in Kun Badur. You guys are going to head over to the forges. That's okay if you can't breathe underwater. We're not heading that direction. You guys head over to the forges and you ask about Hephaestus, and I'm going to give you guys a investigation check. So if you want to all roll that investigation check. And you out there on the internet, if you don't have a character, you can still make checks if you want to flood the chat with those checks. It's totally fine. You got to get a front spotlight so you guys can see me. Or is it better with the I should get a dark cowl and just be a nose of mystery. Hey, a nat 20. Awesome. Nat 20 on investigation. You are convinced that this is probably where Hephaestus has been hiding out, and there's a little DM disguised as Warlock. Yeah, or is it the other way around? Am I Warlock disguised as a DM? All right. So with that nat 20 on investigation, you're going to be looking around Kun Badur, expecting to find Hephaestus in disguise. Is there any sort of way you want to try and draw him out, or you're just going to go knocking door to door, flyer for him? I'm still getting used to, still super weird for me to give you guys typing time. So are the 4 folks that we've got in the chat here, is that our 4? Did we ever get Mitker back? So the player heroes were the ones that helped remove the undead during the undead invasion. So the dwarves of Kun Badur are generally well receptive to visitors. So Shuma is yelling into the sky, yelling into the universe. The tall person. That's good. That's true. I wasn't going to judge that she's just walking around screaming challenges. I guess it wouldn't be the sky. I guess it would be the rock ceiling. But all right. So I guess Shuma should do persuasion or intimidation. And then Dune is doing investigation, and probably everybody else, if you're rolling, do an investigation, looking for Hephaestus or insight if you want to try and figure out a way to draw him out. You could do a history or a religion if you're wanting to know more about the Graumakin gods and their situation. Giving you guys all kinds of options. If you're just joining us, we are doing collaborative storytelling, and anybody can jump in at any time. Pinned to the chat, as well as at the top of the description for the video, you have got the link to the Google Doc where you can add your character. And the characters that are added, as long as they get one message into the chat, are also going to be getting their live stream achievement, and this will also have a special achievement for our first ever live stream, which is today. So far, the 3 or 4 folks that have been typing have earned those achievements. We don't have a system for displaying them or doing anything with them yet, but I'm going to keep track of them in a Google Doc. And that goes for anybody that sees this video before the end of the stream. At the end of the stream, I will turn off the ability to gain that achievement. All right, we've got some more responses here. So we have got Zach says we should be discreet. And then we've got a 17 for intimidation. Heading from the blacksmith, 14 investigation for finding a taller than dwarf tinkersmith. Agreed. Well, you guys are all in luck because the tallest blacksmith happens to be the best blacksmith for no particular reason other than strange coincidence. And so you guys head to the tall blacksmith, and at Shuma's intimidation, the blacksmith is going to just have a very momentary lapse of poker face and is going to sort of taking a breath and raise an eyebrow and ask you guys all if there's anything he can do to help you guys. I am barbarian. Hear me roar. I like it. And I don't know what Joe agreed to, but I'm glad that he is feeling agreeable. Right? All right. So the momentary intimidation is over. The blacksmith doesn't appear intimidated after that first surprise of challenge there. Are you guys looking for weapons? If you're looking for the undead invasion, it's over. It was over a few months ago. Are you guys going to confront this blacksmith directly, or try and be more subtle or discreet? Now that is a prize Mandabarkian metal. We don't get a lot of that here. They pretty well cleaned that up over in the Lower Minespa. You're looking for a certain someone. Yeah, did you lose him in the Undead Invasion? Yeah, he definitely reacts with interest to the Mandabarkian metal. And if your history checks are above a 13 or so, you would probably know that the Grommakin gods helped Mandabark build Athlaca, build the Undercity Library, and build the Colosseum. So he definitely would probably have a reaction. Definitely, probably, yeah. I'm very committal with my. You guys can tell I'm a little bit nervous on the live stream, but that's okay. Yes, he would react to the Mandabarkian metal because of his history with Mandabark building Athlaca. Who do we fight? Oh. Let's see. How would this Dwarven Smith feel about fighting? Oh, he's been lost and in hiding. Does your friend have a name? Who do we fight? I don't have anybody for you to fight. The fighting's all gone out of us since the undead have been routed. In hiding, huh? So, in hiding probably means that they don't want to be found. Do they know you're looking for them? Mugger or bandit to punch? Well, we've got our share of the problems with the Hungry Dark. I don't know if you can punch it or not, but if you head over to where the caves enter the mines, they have been having some folks disappear that way, along with everywhere else. I mean, Blasthaven and Lower Minespa, they've all had problems with that black goop everywhere. But there again, you need a special kind of weapon to combat the Hungry Dark, if that's truly what's there. So at this point, you guys, if you have passive perception or want to roll, if you get higher than a 16, ask him if he's a Festus. Okay, I'll do that in just a second. But that, or maybe this is what gave it away. The Dwarven Smith would probably not know anything about the Hungry Dark. But the Grommakin gods actually were the ones that imprisoned the Hungry Dark in two versions of the world ago. So it probably, for those paying attention, be kind of like, wait a second, how would this guy know about the or you can roll for it. I'm sure someone will get above a 16. That's okay. The probably that something's up, because he probably would have caught himself in his own realization for that he shouldn't know about the Hungry Dark. So, all right, who's looking for Hephaestus? What is your intentions towards the crippled? He's the hurt one, right? I don't want to offend any of the Greco-Roman gods. Another nat 20. Would I believe it? I would, because you, I believe, are playing with a witness in the same room. So I would believe another nat 20. So definitely you're getting sort of like seeing through his glamour and seeing that he is probably Hephaestus. No, that's okay. I believe you. It's better if we get some of those crits and crit fails. Tells a better story that way. So Hephaestus is like, all right, so you're here to ruin my life in hiding? I've been doing so good. What do you want from me? And the reason that I chuckled before when you said look for a taller dwarf than the others is that the most of the Grommakin gods can still resize themselves to suit. So what message do you have for Hephaestus? Are you looking for help with the forges? Are you looking for help fighting the Hungry Dark? Are you looking for trying to figure out why the islands are rising out of the sea in Athlaca? You got some options. Dune was looking for you. Yes, he was. So a dwarf of Kun Badur is looking for a smith. Why would you need a Grommakin godsmith? Yes, Dune does have the bottle note. And what he's referring to there is in this GetherVerse, this universe, everything that happens in session, everything that happens on the virtual ventures and in our YouTube videos and anything within reason, obviously you're going to have strange stuff happen that can't be canon. Anything that can be canon moves the world forward. And Dune, I will try to pull up quickly his all right. It says, the message in the bottle. If this message reaches you, please send help to a remote island due southwest of Pirate Island. I was capsized by an unknown effect that snapped the ship in half. 4 of us drifted until we got to this island. The rest are dead as far as we know. We are poor, but we are people of the cloth and may be able to offer payment and help for our rescue. The island is fairly large, doesn't seem to be inhabited, and we'll try to hang on as long as we can. Utmo, the humble servant of Aguak. So if you haven't encountered any of those names, it won't harm you, but Aguak is the Atlacan name for Poseidon. And so are you going to show Hephaestus okay, Swath Ingot. Magical metal and Mandabarkian tech. You've been collecting some interesting baubles there, Dune. So as far as restoring the forges, the first thing that has to happen is we have to hold back the Hungry Dark. I've been able to keep them out of the forges, but if they consume the magical metals in the forges, they'd be lost forever. So that's going to be the primary thing. As far as this note from the servant of Aguak, that ship snapping thing sounds like one of the techniques that Ares would employ if he was about to lay siege to a city. So that rings like it sounds like the thing that happened to Athlaca. At least the sinking of the ships is something that Ares probably would have done in order to keep people from being able to leave Athlaca, so that he could have the largest amount of meta hate Ares. Yeah, you're on a very long list of people that feel that way. I think he's been at best an anti-hero for a couple of sessions, but mostly destructive for sure. So he lets you know. So that is a new thing that players didn't know before, which is that Ares likely broke all the boats in the Athlaca harbor there. So as far as restoring the forges, really it's going to take fighting the Hungry Dark or containing it, which I don't know any way other than collecting the Mundinisi or gathering the Grommakin gods from wherever they have flung together to join their power to reign in the Hungry Dark. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure which of those things is the need there. But if you are looking for someone to fight, or looking for, there are definitely cults that have sprung up, even here in Kun Badur, that are trying to give the Hungry Dark power and new types of resources and metals, and they would definitely be a place where you could go fight some bandits if that's your goal. So I should be able to continue to keep the Hungry Dark out of the forges, so they don't get access to all the superheatable metals and things that come along with the Kun Badur forges. But I can't press my power outward, so I have to kind of remain here and watch over Kun Badur. That was a lot. So just a reminder, if you're new to our virtual ventures or storytelling or streams, all you need if you want to play is a character, and your character just needs a name, a class, and a race. That's it. And then you'll probably need one of these, or a random number generator. Okay, so you guys have figured out that Ares broke the boats. That would be important information, probably for the folks of Athlaca, figuring out that there is no longer a sea monster that's after them. And as far as Hephaestus is definitely going to be asking you guys if you can leave him a secret. Outfit us. Yeah, of course. I can outfit you guys. What do you need? Or are you talking about in your journey against the Hungry Dark? Well, let me pull up Hephaestus's gear. So originally, Hephaestus, and I'm going to see if he still has it, originally he actually was carrying around one of the pieces of the Mundi Nisi. That would be helpful. But I have to double check to make sure that he still has it. He may not. So the Mundi Nisi, if that's a new term for you, is a set of 7 items that is essentially our infinity gauntlet, as it were. That it's an outfit that allows you to fight against the gods. And it includes the Aspectu Sight, which is kind of a mean item that embeds in your chest and allows you to see all kinds of stuff around the world. And well, that's okay. We'll figure it out as far as the items go. So other things that can help you on your journey. I've got weapons and armor. Poseidon's thing. The old trident. Well, see, the nice thing about being the god of blacksmiths is that I can take something that you have and I can make cool stuff out of it. So if you don't mind me adding to that trident you've got there, is that does it currently have magic attached to it, or is it just a regular trident? All right, here we go. So the Hephaestus had the Gustum tongue. So he has got. So he says this will absolutely help with the It's a regular trident. Stabby, stabby, fish and baddies. All right, we like it. All right, so we'll get to the trident in a second. Backing up to I found the Mundi Nisi, and the Gustum tongue is a ring. It looks like fangs reaching towards the wearer. That's a hard word. It's one of the 7 reality crests. It causes you to hunger for larger and larger amounts of material because its ability is it creates a mouth on your hand that can change matter from one material to another. It cannot imbue magic, and any magic materials used loses its magic or is rejected. So there are a lot of probably creative ways that this could be used against the Hungry Dark. So I will send that along with you guys in exchange for your ongoing keeping my secret that I'm here. And if my secret gets out, then I'll just come looking for that item, and we'd have to go from there. Okay, now let me look at that trident. What do you want the trident to be able to do? Definitely also ask questions, whether you're a player with a character or are just enjoying the storytelling. Yes, the swath metal. So for that amount, you could probably make a dagger or a sai or a small hammer out of it. And yeah, so essentially the swath metal is going to amplify whatever you do create out of it. So so anything you'd be able to otherwise do with that metal, it will do more of that. So I am, yeah, if you let me know what you want it to do. And so that is, so Noros is asking Dune to hang on to which thing are you talking about there, Noros? You're talking about the swath metal, or you're talking about the Mundanisi? Oh, I'll type that in the chat so you can see how it's spelled. Oh yeah, definitely. So we can give it some magical flames and lightning, and so on a successful attack, you can now choose if you want your trident to do damage with the fire or cold keywords. And the fire or, I'm sorry, cold or lightning. You meant lightning there, I think. Yes, fire or lightning, not cold, my bad. You choose between one of those two, and it will extend beyond the weapon and encase you in the fire or lightning as well. And we'll, let's say, once between short rests, be able to give you advantage on an intimidation check. The ring, yes. Cover the ring and not touch it, knowing it is semi-cursed. Yeah. The Mundi Nisi items all have really great powers, but they all have catches. They all have the turn you evil or slowly eat away at you kind of catches. Until they're all put together, then that takes away all of the negative effects if you have the whole set. So that's kind of the trade-off for being able to wield the Mundi Nisi. All right, so the question is, how magic Mandabarkian nails make a warhammer that is light and super. Oh yeah, absolutely. You want the warhammer to be able to craft, or do you want it to be able to war, or both? You want it to be damaging as well as crafting? And if Dune is going to be carrying the Mundinisi item, even covered the first time you put it in your bag, you'll probably want a wisdom saving throw. I'm not sure what you mean go into debt. I am trading you guys' gear for continued secrecy of my location, since I'm not ready to leave Kun Badur and I don't want anybody to know that I'm here. So the weapons and armor augmentation is part of that understanding. So how about our halfling friend? Do you want anything made or created or crafted by Hephaestus? Mr. Reed Cubble? Nat 20 on the wisdom save. All right, you are now the honorary keeper of the Gratum tongue. No, Gustum tongue. Sorry. Gratum is the king of Capital City. Zach, did you want anything augmented by Hephaestus there? There it is. Daggers. What can I do with them? You want damage? You want intimidation? You want some other magical effect? Poison? I don't have a lot of poison knowledge. Or I could double these up into throwing daggers so that they could return to you if you threw them. Boy, the lighting really makes it tough, doesn't it? I might have to try and change that lighting around on the intermission here. I'm looking more and more unintentionally fading into the shadows here. Returning sounds nice. All right, so I'll take it a step further, and if they are lost or stolen, you can still have them returned to you as well. Daggers do a little less damage when they're thrown, but otherwise your daggers will return to you with a keyword of your choosing. So just a reminder, if anybody wants to throw a character on even for a couple of comments, we are doing our first round of achievements. So anybody that's in on the storytelling gets their achievement for live and their achievement for first ever live, since this is our first stream. And we'll be trying to find a good avenue for those achievements as we go on. All right, excellent. So you guys are ready to go to the next stage of the adventure. Is there anything else that you need from Kun Badur? And if we're leaving Kun Badur, are we leaving back to Athlaca, or are we going deeper to face the Hungry Dark, or some other location for the next part? So Hephaestus would Hephaestus's choice on the Warhammer. So the craft minor and major items are built into the hammer. So it's those things take a lot of time, but your character can have access to those abilities that generally are not for player characters, at least in most standard RPGs. And so those crafting minor and major items on the crafting side. And then for the battle side, it's actually going to have a 1 in 10 chance, so a 10 on a D10 every successful hit to disarm or sunder a piece of equipment from an enemy. There's a 10% chance of it breaking with more power and accuracy than a regular hammer could. And then as far as the Mundi Nisi item, that Nat 20 has got you covered for quite a while. Eventually, you may have to make another wisdom saving throw, just a heads up on that. Are you guys wanting battle into the Hungry Dark, or are you wanting more message delivery back to Athlaca? If you want more intrigue, we could go north to Blasthaven or east to Lower Minespa. Lower Minespa, remember, you'd have to sneak in since the city would be closed. Awesome. Thank you for keeping my secret. So the other option is you could go looking for more of the Mundi Nisi items or more of the Grommakin gods. And the other option is we could call it at 7:30. I think that would be a good kind of test trial for this live stream method. If you guys wanted to have it be that amount of time for tonight. I definitely figure out different lighting for next time. I can kind of lean back into the light. Okay, so for those of you that watch this after it's a live stream, the folks that are here are earning achievements for our first live stream. And as we go, we'll have other achievements for the different platforms that we use. If you like the collaborative storytelling idea, we do this in written form on the Discord channel all the time. And so you can check that out. It's all the links to the Facebook group has more of our art side for painting miniatures and 3D printing miniatures. That's the same as our Instagram. The YouTube channel here has everything, all different variety of nerdy activities, and then if you want to support, we really appreciate the support on Patreon as well as Buy Me a Coffee. Those are both good options. But I think we are going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for partying. I'm excited that there is another Grommakin god that's on the map, and I'm excited that there is another Mundi Nisi item on the map. So that will lead to all kinds of fun stories, I'm sure. Your characters can either jump back into the stories that they're already in for you guys that are doing the player thing, or they can start from here on their next adventure. That's up to you. All throughout our GetherVerse activities, we have this kind of slight suspension of disbelief that allows characters and players to be in 2 different continents at once, or things that are kind of out of order in the timeline, or know/unknow characters that need to happen for the story to happen. So appreciate all of our players. I am so grateful for you guys that came in and adventured in the chat. Let me know if you have preferred platforms, if you like the Discord, if you wanted to be all the players on video, if you wanted me to just go back to being typing. Or if you wanted to try one of an online platform like Roll20 or something like that. We've got tons of options, and we are going to do what you guys want to do. And I appreciate, again, you guys for coming down. We will see you in session online or on video. Thanks, you guys, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, Internet.